The story opens with Wu at Wang Zhen's apartment, finding temporary solace in Wang Shou's room. After a necessary hot shower, Wu succumbs to exhaustion, falling asleep almost instantly. However, the calm doesn't last for long, at least not for Wang Zhen, who remains awake through the night. As the early morning hours arrive and the rain from a storm finally ceases, Wang Zhen discovers Wu, unexpectedly awake, sitting cross-legged on the carpet by the window. Wu's appearance is striking. His black hair is disheveled, standing up like a hedgehog, especially at his cowlick. He sits rigidly, conveying an image of a stubborn and solitary child. When Wang Zhen asks why he's awake, Wu quietly explains that with the rain gone, he can no longer sleep. There's a poignant irony in this. He had slept peacefully through the intense wind and thunder of the storm, but the newfound quietness brings a profound restlessness. His mind seems to play tricks on him. He constantly imagines the creak of a door, followed by footsteps moving from the entryway towards the bedroom. Yet, despite his prolonged waiting, that bedroom door never actually opens. This vivid internal experience suggests a deep longing or expectation that remains unfulfilled. Wang Zhen, being notably perceptive, immediately understands Wu's emotional state. He recognizes the very same look and demeanor that Wang Shou had displayed night after night for the past 6 months. Like Wu, Wang Shou had frequently wandered through the house like a ghost, hoping for the day someone would finally push open the door and acknowledge they had found him. Wang Zhen's insight highlights a shared vulnerability between Wu and Wang Shou, portraying them as proud yet timid individuals who hide behind different outward appearances. Wang Zhen gently tells Wu that Wang Shou isn't returning immediately, explaining that someone who stays out all night in the rain won't come home just because the rain stopped. Wu, perhaps protesting too much, quickly denies being worried about Wang Shou being with Qicheng. Instead, he claims his fear is that Wang Shou would be upset to find him sleeping in his bed. Wang Zhen calmly reassures him that Wang Shou isn't particular and doesn't even usually wash his feet. With this, Wu silently returns to Wang Shou's room. The next afternoon, Wu embarks on a significant shopping spree. He buys a generous amount of delicious food and several new outfits for his mother. He's motivated by his mother's recent discharge from the hospital. She intensely dislikes hospitals, finding them stuffy, and constantly worries about her absence affecting Wu. Consequently, she strictly avoids hospital stays unless absolutely necessary, preferring that doctors make house calls for her checkups and treatments. Upon arriving home, Wu immediately observes that his mother appears to have gotten thinner. She explains that at her age, diabetes tends to make one turn into skin and bones. Wu's heart aches at her words, and he points out that she wasn't this thin before. He worries she isn't eating properly, urging her not to adhere too strictly to doctors' dietary advice, emphasizing the importance of nutrition and cautioning her against starving herself to avoid certain foods. His mother gently smiles, reiterating that at her age, nutrition isn't the priority. Simply being full is enough. Wu strongly disagrees, insisting that older individuals need to take even greater care of their health. As Wu carries the shopping bags into the kitchen, he's utterly surprised by the contents of their fridge. Just last month, he had replaced their old fridge with a large double-door model specifically to create more space, yet it's now completely packed. He also notices a collection of rare and expensive items, including cordyceps and bird's nest soup ingredients. He asks his mother who brought all these items. She casually replies that it was Qicheng and that most of the fridge's contents came from him. Wu then inquires about Qicheng's recent visits. His mother explains that Qicheng has been coming a lot recently, stating he's changed jobs and now has more free time, so he drops in to keep her company. Anxious that Wu might overthink things, she quickly adds that Qicheng simply loves her cooking and insists on eating there every time he visits before he leaves. Wu's face darkens significantly, though he refrains from saying anything. His mother, noticing him staring at the expensive supplements, complains about their taste, remarking they are kind of gross. She mentions Qicheng constantly tells her to use a little whenever she makes soup, but she genuinely can't stand the taste. She admits that if it weren't for Qicheng's good intentions in giving them, she would have tossed them out already. Wu sharply interjects, telling her not to throw them out and emphasizing that these are top-tier supplements that cost tens of thousands per kilo. His mother is so shocked. Wu, however, felt Qi Cheng might prevent him from finding a wife. He later realized he'd been with Qi Cheng for a year. Meanwhile, Guo returned and noticed Shuai was acting strangely, leading him to Shuai's clinic. Shuai was performing an arrogant act on the phone, feigning disinterest in a delivery, which Guo saw right through. A delivery guy then called Shuai out, confirming his deceptive behavior. Later, at the hospital, Qi Cheng found a distressed Wu, who seemed to have discovered upsetting news. Qi Cheng tried to comfort him, but Wu lashed out in anger, crying and physically assaulting Qi Cheng, blaming him for past actions and telling him to leave. Qi Cheng, though hurt, carried Wu to a quiet spot, comforting him and promising to get the best medical care for Wu's mother. Wu, still emotional, blamed Qi Cheng for not telling him something earlier. Qi Cheng gently cleaned Wu's face, telling him to stop crying. Wu eventually calmed down, though his eyes remained dull. Qi Cheng asked if Wu was colorblind, implying he hadn't seen a truth. Wu hinted Qi Cheng wouldn't have come otherwise, to which Qi Cheng admitted he came because he couldn't stand being apart. Wu resolved to get his mom the best care, a decision Qi Cheng supported.